You can almost feel it, that quiet tension surrounding Sony. It's the kind of silence that makes creators wonder whether something big is quietly taking shape behind closed doors, or if one of the most beloved camera lines has been shelved for good. For years, filmmakers, hybrid shooters, and loyal Sony fans have been asking the same question across forums, Reddit threads, and YouTube comments. Where is the Sony A7S IV? This single question has turned into one of the most persistent mysteries in the camera world. So today, let's take a deep dive into everything we know, what we've heard, and what we fear about the uncertain fate of the Sony A7S IV. To understand the confusion and concern around the Sony A7S IV, we need to go back to what made the S series so legendary in the first place. When the original Sony A7S launched, it completely flipped the script on what mirrorless cameras were expected to be. At a time when most brands were obsessed with increasing megapixel counts, Sony did the exact opposite. Instead of packing the sensor with pixels, it kept things at just 12 megapixels, a bold decision that prioritized sensitivity over sheer resolution. This design philosophy turned the A7S into a low-light monster. It could see in conditions where other cameras struggled or outright failed, allowing filmmakers to capture cinematic, atmospheric footage in near darkness. Then came the A7S II, which refined that formula even further. It brought better internal stabilization, improved dynamic range, and pushed the line deeper into professional filmmaking territory. But the real revolution arrived in 2020 with the Sony A7S III. After years of speculation and countless leaks, Sony finally released what many considered the perfect hybrid camera. It offered stunning 4K 120p recording, incredible autofocus, rich dynamic range, and a reputation for unmatched reliability. For filmmakers, it became the gold standard. For YouTubers, it was the dream camera, small, powerful, and cinematic. For Sony, the S line was proof that low light sensitivity and creative freedom could coexist. However, the market around it evolved rapidly. Panasonic launched the S1H and GH6, setting new standards for internal codecs and color science. Canon delivered the R5C and C70, blending cinema-grade power with hybrid usability. Nikon came roaring back with the Z8 and Z9, breaking long-standing limits on speed and video capability. While all these brands expanded and diversified, Sony's once dominant S series stood still. The company expanded its alpha lineup with models like the A7 IV, A7RV, and even the FX Cinema series. But there's been nothing new carrying the S name. That's where the silence starts to feel intentional. The rumors about the Sony A7S IV have been circulating for years, a swirling mix of wish lists, speculation, and whispers from supposed insiders. Early chatter suggested that Sony planned to keep the iconic 12-megapixel sensor concept, but upgrade it with a new stacked or backside illuminated design for faster readouts, minimal rolling shutter, and even better low-light handling. Some reports claimed it could record 6K at 60 FPS or 4K at 240 FPS. Features that would push the S series back to the cutting edge of hybrid filmmaking. Other credible sources pointed to potential breakthroughs in autofocus with AI-powered subject tracking, predictive stabilization, and improved color science taken directly from Sony's recent flagships like the A7RV and A9 III. The idea was clear. The A7S IV wouldn't just be an evolution, it would redefine what a compact cinema camera could be. But then, the leaks stopped. Reputable sources who had accurately predicted previous Sony announcements suddenly went quiet. Long-trusted insiders began admitting that no credible information about the A7S IV was surfacing anywhere. Instead, new rumors started pointing toward a different model, something called the FX32, a cinema-oriented camera that might merge the DNA of the A7S line with Sony's FX series. That shift in narrative sparked an even bigger debate. Was Sony quietly merging the S series into its cinema division, or was it canceling the line altogether? This uncertainty has become one of the most divisive topics in the Sony community. On one side, you have loyalists, filmmakers, vloggers, and hybrid shooters who swear by the A7S III. They argue that the S series still serves a unique purpose that no other Sony camera fills. Unlike the FX3, which leans heavily towards cinema production. The A7S cameras strike a perfect balance between filmmaking and still photography. For many creators, that flexibility, along with its small form factor and unmatched low-light performance, still makes it the ideal choice. To them, discontinuing the S series would be a mistake. After all, the A7S III continues to sell well even 4 years after launch. Its compact size, dual nature, and reliability make it a moneymaker for Sony and a trusted tool for professionals. Some even joke that Sony's camera lineup is like a Taco Bell menu, built from the same ingredients but assembled in clever ways to create different flavors. So why eliminate one of the best-selling dishes? But on the other side of the debate are those who believe the writing is already on the wall. Sony's expanding FX series, with cameras like the FX3, FX30, and the rumored FX32, has created overlap between its cinema and alpha lines. Maintaining too many models that serve similar roles could strain development resources and confuse customers. From a business perspective, it might make sense for Sony to merge or phase out the S line, especially as technology evolves and redundancy grows harder to justify. There's also the philosophical question. What does the S even stand for anymore? Originally, it meant sensitivity, the idea of mastering low light and dynamic range. But in 2025, with stacked sensors, global shutters, and advanced AI noise reduction becoming standard, that advantage isn't as unique. Most modern cameras now perform well in dim environments. Many hybrid shooters prioritize higher resolution and oversampled footage for editing flexibility, things the A7S series has traditionally avoided. For some, this means the A7S IV would need to completely reinvent itself to remain relevant. The uncertainty surrounding the Sony A7S IV says a lot about how much the camera industry has changed. When the original A7S was released, low light mastery, internal 4K recording, and compact design were groundbreaking. Today, they're baseline expectations. In a sense, the A7S line was a victim of its own success. It raised the bar so high that its innovations became standard features across the industry. Still, for many creators, the S meant something more than specs. It represented creative freedom, the ability to tell stories in any light, anywhere, without compromise. The Sony A7S IV, if it ever appears, wouldn't just be another camera. It would be a symbol of continuity for filmmakers who built their craft around what the S series stood for. If Sony truly retires the line, the legacy of the A7S will live on in every Alpha and FX camera that delivers clean, cinematic images in impossible conditions. But if Sony surprises the world again, and the A7S IV does emerge from the silence, it could mark a stunning comeback. A reminder that even in an era of AI and global shutters, there's still room for a camera built purely for storytelling. For now, the question lingers. Is the S really gone, or just sleeping? Perhaps we'll find out soon. Until then, one thing remains certain. The anticipation for the Sony A7S IV is far from over.